I am Sandra Champlain, and there's a good chance you know who I am, but you may not. Somebody could have shared this. I'm the host of We Don't Die Radio, the new show Shades of the Afterlife on iHeartRadio. I am an afterlife explorer big time, and I've written a book called We Don't Die, A Skeptic's Discovery of Life After Death, and it's going on 25 years that I've been on this journey. And of course, it was my own fears of dying that got me on the journey. I found out a lot of stuff, but I was never going to tell anybody because I thought people would think I was weird and I'd lose my family and friends, and that didn't happen. And of course, my dad, my grandmother, and some dear pet companions passed away, and I know firsthand how difficult grief can be. I think it's one of the most painful things we humans have to deal with. And I decided to come forward with everything that I've learned about the afterlife. And since then, all kinds of great things have happened. And I met these two beautiful people, Carrie McLeod and Philip Dykes, who are husband-wife team that have been mediums for the better part of 25 years as well. And I just thought it would be great to have a conversation about how we can do medium stuff and how people can come through, even though we're now working online. So hi, guys.
Hello. Sandra, how are you doing?
I'm in a great mood. It's pouring rain outside, but that doesn't matter. I don't know, woke up on the right side of the bed. I counted my blessings this morning, things I was grateful for. Believe it or not, that really helps put things in perspective, doesn't it?
Definitely does. Absolutely does.
Yes. So let's talk mediumship. First thing, well, let me just pat ourselves on the back. Nobody knew that COVID-19 was going to hit and that people weren't going to be able to travel. And I don't know what it was about us back June 13th, 2019, that we decided, do you guys want to try to do a mediumship demonstration online? And he said, yes. And we really didn't know what was possible because before that, you were just doing demonstrations live. And we decided to give whatever money we raised to the organization, global organization, Save the Children. And we just went for it. And on that beautiful day in June, we raised well over $2,000 and we were able to give it to Save the Children. And so now here we are, so much time later, and so much has happened. So how has it been for you guys moving from demonstrating to a gathering of people, whether it's a church or wherever, to what we're doing now online?
It's been an extraordinary journey. Where you came up with the idea with Save the Children, it feels like so long ago. It feels normal now, doesn't it? But it was interesting because we said yes, then we thought, oh, what have we agreed to? We've never done this before. But we sat down, we looked at it and we thought, this must be like demonstrating to a theatre where you can't see everybody, but your evidence has got to get to that right person and really stick to it. It's going to be profound evidence. So we quickly realised where the mediumship needed to be changed, strengthened, and really understood to make a difference in the world, really.
And from June, we did demonstrations in September and in December, long before this awful virus hit our planet. And so it shows the intelligence of the spirit world and how when you're moved by the spirit world, you're taken to the experiences that you need to have in order to have them in your backpack should you need them. That kind of be prepared. And we were out there doing online demonstrations. And what we found now is that online demonstrations are often 2 and 3 every evening of every day of every week around about the world. And there are demonstrations that we would say are excellent versions of how to demonstrate, and there are some where we would say there maybe needs a little bit more practice put in there, because there's some opportunities to watch mediums work where the evidence doesn't find the recipient, where the medium picks where they're going. And there's the chance in that the medium works psychically and picks a recipient. Meanwhile, there's a whole shuffle behind the medium as the family of the person the medium's picked to go to comes in. Whereas if anybody watches the mediums where the evidence finds the recipient, you'll hear them say, some pieces of information that could only relate to one or two people out of an audience of, say, well, in the gathering up to 500 people. And then we can work through that evidence to be able to find the one person. That way we can be sure that the spirit person is being taken to the recipient through their evidence, and not there's been a little bit of a mismatch, because that might be their only chance, I suppose, to speak to their loved ones that's still breathing and living here.
Yeah. And I think it was a demonstration again with you, Sandra, at first, where we put the online and demonstrating live together, where we did the theatres in Fort Lauderdale, and it was understanding.
December 2019.
It was December 2019, correct. And remember, stood there, and I completely forgot all the cameras were there, but the clairsentience was taken as direct. We were using all the mechanics that we were meant to use. Then we realised we've got people watching live as well, and even those people today are still watching us on the Southern Gathering. So it's been spectacular, hasn't it, really? How it's helped people find mediumship that wouldn't normally go to a church, that would probably think twice about it. They don't want to be connected to religion, but have always been interested. Well, Zoom online has really given that opportunity to delve into it, to witness it, to understand it, and really get to know what mediumship truly is about.
And
Well,
Sunday gathering, sorry, Sandra.
No, that's all right, because we want to get to everything. But I just want to go back to the basics. Now, it totally makes sense if I'm in a theater watching you two demonstrate and you're connecting with somebody in the spirit world, delivering me a message. But how in the heck can it happen if you guys are 3,000 miles away? How does that work that the spirit world can be with you and can be with me, you know?
That's that intelligence, isn't it? We meet a lot of people that say it can't be done through a computer. Some people don't agree with it, full stop. But actually, it's exactly the same process. If we work a theatre, we can't see the back of the room. There might be a few hundred people, a few thousand people. We can't see everybody. But the intelligence of the spirit world, as they blend with the medium, the evidence will find that one person out of like a needle in a haystack. So it still works the same way as we blend with the spirit world here, where we're sat here in Scotland and you're in America. It's that personal interaction with the spirit world, that intelligence, that factual information that's been brought forward that only one person can understand on the other side. Now, when we do the webinars where there may be between 300 and 500 people weekly, we can't see anybody. We've got to rely on that intelligence, that loved one coming forward, impressing our minds, impressing the emotions and physicalities in that spiritual state, really pushing the boundaries of our imaginations, our minds, as we work with the spirit world, saying, well, this is me, this is how things were, these are the facts, these are the objective facts that only one person can take. That's the intelligence we're talking about.
And if we look at healing, people are maybe familiar with spiritual healing, how yes, we can have hands-on healing. In COVID times, we have distance healing, where you might still be in the same room, but you are maybe 2 meters apart from your recipient. And then we have absent healing, where we can be the other side of the world, and it's been proven scientifically that there is an energetic exchange between two people when one is in one room and the other person's in another room, either in the same building or the other side of the world. There's an energetic change happens there. Mediumship is very similar. It's energy, it's thoughts, it's that love that transcends any physical laws that we think shape our world. It goes well beyond that.
We are so powerful, I've come to realize in our weekly classes. But you had said in the beginning, people would bring people through psychically instead of mediumistically. Would you mind letting everybody know what the difference between the two is?
Yes, what can happen, Sandra, is that we start to, if we look at ourselves as energy, let's keep it simple, we emanate an energy field, an auric field, the extension of the nervous system. And what can happen is people reach into that and extract that information. So there's no blending with that discarnate soul, that communicator in the spirit world. It's all information that you're telling them. It's almost like it's very much a psychic sitting where they're reaching into the soul, they're realizing and understanding information they have similar and they understand it, so they're just translating it back. They understand, so we can reach in there, and everything that you've done in your life is carried within that energy system, that auric field, so they can reach in and pull it out. And that goes for names, places, dates, you name it, it's all in there. You're carrying it all the time. Some people say, well, it's telepathy. No, it's not. We're actually psychically aware. We have a sense about us that's natural, that we're aware of our surroundings, our atmospheres, and we can touch and blend with it. And it's that impresses us. And one of the simple things ways we can explain it is pre-COVID. You know, those days where we could shake somebody's hand and say hello. We know we get a feeling before we get a thought, and it's that feeling of a person that speaks volumes within our gut instinct, as some people like to call it, that we realize, they're nice, I want to get to know. Or there's that feeling of, not too sure about this person.
And if somebody wants to know about their life, i.e. about what's happening in their life at that moment, they should go for a psychic reading, because that's how the psychic's going to work. Many people want to know about their life but want an evidential mediumship reading. Well, evidential mediumship is about connecting the same way as we do psychically with the soul and with the personality and with that emanation of that soul, except that person's stopped breathing, so they're in the spirit world now. The evidence and the information we get from the spirit person will all be about their life, because the purpose they're coming forward with is to say, I'm still here, I still love you, I'm still around about, I love you, I wish I had said, or I'm glad I did say, or I see you doing. It will very rarely be about the recipient's life. Sometimes it will come in where they'll talk about the recipient's life, and often that's where we can say a little bit about what might be coming in the person's life, as in a little bit about the future. What we know about the psychicism, there shouldn't be any future telling there, because nothing's predestined. There might be the happen chance of something likely to happen if A, B, and C happens, but if B doesn't happen, well, either it's a bad psychic, but in actual fact, it's just that the psychic can't really predict what's happening. So psychic is about the person's life and what's happening past and present. Mediumship is about the communicator's life, their memories, their experiences, their evidence, and what they want to share as to what they're seeing about what the person's doing here.
Yeah, and a good medium is a storyteller. He tells the story, or she tells the story of life according to that loved one in the spirit world, their evidence in their way, the way that they want to bring it true. Every contact should be different, individual. It can be objective, where there's real facts given. It can be emotional, where it's all emotional. Depends on the state of the need of the person in front of you. But there should be another thing that happens as well, is when we're in the essence of the communicator, the presence of that communicator should be felt. And when everything comes together, that's what a good contact does. Objective, factual information that proves beyond doubt that they're here, but there should be a warmth and emotional side that brings all the memories alive and makes it personal. But that presence makes it tangible to everybody, whether it's mental mediumship, physical mediumship, there should be a presence there. But again, it brings comfort. It brings also other memories, because all of a sudden it evokes a memory you've forgotten about that touches you emotionally. Then it jogs the memory, the mind, to where other memories come in. And it's about inspiring the living. It's not about communication from the dead. It's about inspiring the living here.
And a private reading will be about half an hour. And there's normally time to unfold the story, to let the communicator get to know the medium a bit more. And so things flow. Whereas in a demonstration, generally the contacts will be between 7 and 10 minutes. So it's a very short space in time in which the communicator's got that chance to say, I'm here, this is my life, this is my memories, and this is what I remember, this is my personality, and please know I'm here. So when the demonstrating medium face-to-face or online, that's the purpose in that short period of time, to create that curiosity in somebody about, oh, I wonder how that medium knew that. and then they might go on to have a private reading or inquire themselves. But that demonstration of the short messages is all about creating that awareness and offering that comfort and inspiring.
Yeah, and Kerry's just really quickly has just jogged my memory. Mediumship is about proving life after death, but some people out there are skeptical. Some people don't believe it. Well, these people come along and they might not get a contact, but what they should see is that seed planting that goes, there may be something to this. There is something to this. By that, if the standard of mediumship is good, that they're touched in a way that how could that medium, that person know that? Especially over Zoom online, because you can't even see the recipient. You don't know who you're talking to, especially on the great big webinars.
I want to talk a little bit about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you just used the word skeptic, and that's perfect, because in mediumship, prior to Zoom and COVID and all that, people, including myself, I mean, I'm a number one top-notch skeptic. You know, I used to think the world of mediumship was all baloney. And there's been plenty of magicians who are out to show what a reading can be and how people can do a cold reading. And the recipient really thinks, oh my God, that's real. And there are con artists, there are frauds, there are untrained people who just maybe have a teeny fraction of training that are out saying, I'm a medium. And God bless my mom. She always says, what do you call the guy or girl who graduates at the very bottom of their graduating class for medical school? And the answer is doctor. So just because somebody has the title doctor or medium doesn't necessarily mean that they're the real deal. So with that being said, I know that we offer a free, let me just repeat that, free, doesn't cost anything, Sunday gathering. And part of that is a demonstration of evidential mediumship. What must you guys do, or request of the spirit world, that say we have 500 people attending? How specific must the information be so that you don't have 50 people raise their virtual hand that can take that?
Mm-hmm. So we have to look at the actual mechanics of what we're about to do. So we're going to demonstrate in front of 500 people on Zoom webinar, so we can't see anybody. So the information, the evidence we have to give has to be poignant, has to be on point, and has to be recognized by the one. We can't do a demonstration where 20 people recognize it, because we'll be there all night. So it has to be really specific information. So we're looking at who we've got, relationship. We want to know factual, objective evidence that is strong to prove that we're with that one person. That, let's, for example, say it's Dad. We also then need that objective evidence, which will, let's make something up. He was a Nile boat fisherman fishing for crocodiles, sort of thing, something very bizarre. That's how my mind works, ladies and gentlemen. And then we want just that little bit more of maybe who we want to speak to, whether it's the son, the daughter, or some other factual information that can only be taken by one. So if you think about 500 people, so that's 500 little bits of hay, that information has just got to be the needle, which is the one in the haystack, in the audience. And that's where the hand comes in. And what we say is then, you understand everything we said, then we go into the essence of the communicator, really get to understand them, the personality, the character, the traits, really bring them alive. And it's usually through that evidence then that we get the message, not a separate message, separate tale, but just from that evidence, it's then makes sense, logical, intelligent sense. That's the message.
And what we sometimes see is, now we have nothing against grandparents, but they're really hard to place, because a lot of the population have grandparents in the spirit world. And guess what? A lot of our grandmothers did like to bake. They did like a tidy house. They did like to cater for specific meals. They did like to dust. They normally had little ornaments around the place. They possibly were from the children and grandchildren where they traveled. They maybe had short curly hair, and they maybe had an apron. Now, if I gave that to 500 people, I would probably easily have 250 people. Same with Grandad's with his slippers and his pipe or his flat cap, or he used to read paper or go to the shop, or he had a walking stick, or maybe he had a certain chair he sat in. What we're looking for, if I get a grandfather, I know Phil is the same, grandfather or grandmother, I'm thinking, okay, if you're going to say you like to bake, I need to know what you baked and what was the special ingredient, or what specific occasion in the year. Or if it's Grandad and you sat in a chair, what kind of chair was it? Where did it face? The window, the telly, or the door? Was there a fireplace? If it was a cap, who has that cap? It needs to be a little bit more specific. And even then, we might still get about 50 hands. So we need to be very clear about the occupation or specific memories. I have a Grandad here. I know he had a race boat and you went out on the race boat and you fell overboard, but you had a safety harness on. Something very specific. And the thing is, the spirit world know this. Mm-hmm. The spirit world know that they need the evidence. This is the clever part. They're going to pick something that is specifically within that part of their life that they can mention. So my Grandad had 70 odd years on this planet. But if he communicates through a medium, he's got to pick 1 or 2 parts of his life that he wants to share with me that I'll recognize straight away. The intelligence of the spirit world should never fail to cease to amaze us, because it is incredible and mediums shouldn't get in the way of that. Yeah. And a demonstration should allow us, for the communicator, to give that evidence and for us not to use it symbolically or allow ourselves to, or we've seen some people kind of pick boxes off a screen, or it just isn't allowing the communicator the full ability to express themselves and get to their person. Because what we see is sometimes the switches take place. So if somebody can't be placed, there'll be another communicator that comes in, and the communicator that wanted to speak more or less says, I'm not going to get to my person, but you're pretty close. So how about you come in? Great, somebody's still been seen and heard and understood, but the initial person gives up their turn.
Yes.
And then we don't want that to happen.
The way that we present it is done within 2 or 3 statements. We don't want to go above that, because we know less is more. And if we can be specific with 2 clear, crisp statements, or 3, then we're straight to the point, and then we can open up when we're with the right person. But there's a little bit more to it, because also when the recipient comes in, we can actually feel if it's for the right person or not. And what you'll actually see is that, I know you're putting your hand up here, but it's not, it doesn't feel right. Somebody else understands. So the medium receives the information, but also can feel if it's for the right person or not. And that's again through an ability we call clairsentience.
I can't help but think, given the population as I know as a whole, that you guys are starting to get, or will continue to get. I've got a grandmother here with a gold tooth with a big old rose tattoo on her chest that says Bruno, really specific evidence. And it's so great to watch the 2 of you work, because I know as a recipient or someone in the audience, you're always hoping, oh, will my loved one come through? Well, the thing is, and I like to repeat this each and every week, that there's a handful of people that might come through on the Sunday gathering as representatives of everybody in the spirit world. And you can feel the love for these people. You can feel their essence, their personality, their message. And it's this feeling is, if this person's husband came through, geez, my dad must be here too, So it's all inclusive. It's not like our loved ones just wait for Sunday to come by to see us, right?
Exactly. And what probably people don't understand is, for every one person that comes through, there's probably a few hundred people there willing, that intention, that love to get them through. They work as a team. So again, for every one contact, and I think we worked it out earlier on, between 200 and 300 contacts on the Sunday service that's happened since we started, and it's 52 weeks. It's
52 weeks on Sunday.
It's a year, isn't it?
We're a year old.
A year old. Who would have thought? So we can think of all the people over that year for 52 weeks that have come forward, but all those in the background that have wanted to help somebody come through. It's absolutely amazing that the love that's in the spirit world that's been brought forward for everyone to witness. That's the magical, and that's what we love, because each week we're meeting somebody new, face to face, live or on the camera. Well, in fact, we don't, because we don't see them, but we're meeting some real love, some real people coming from the spirit world who want to come say, hello, I love you, I'm still here, I'm watching, or giving the inspiration, comfort, healing, and real reward to those people that get those kinds. It's a privilege to be, isn't it?
Let me ask you this. If I'm on the Sunday gathering, of course, I know this answer, but if you're working with someone says, okay, yes, that's me, that I can totally understand that person. How much do you want the recipient to tell you when you're giving them information?
We're looking for minimal input from the recipient. And we know that the people that are on the Sunday gathering or on a demonstration, they are desperate to tell us because it's their loved one, and we can feel the excitement, and we can feel that they actually want to tell us more about them. And given other circumstances, if we didn't know how mediumship worked, we would say, yes, tell me more about your loved one. I'm intrigued. I really want to know. However, our job is not to hear about the loved one. Our job is to share the experience of the loved one. So for that to happen, we need the recipient to say yes if they understand the information, and no if they don't understand the information, and if they're not sure, just to give us an I don't know. And I know it's very difficult, and it might feel a little bit constrained to be a recipient and only be able to say that, or maybe feel a bit cold or a little bit impersonal. But in actual fact, the best results come from that, because the recipient leaves knowing they didn't give the medium anything.
Yes. And
that's vitally important, because for some people it's a difference between, oh my goodness, that was my mum, and well, that was my mum, but I gave the medium a lot of that, so was it really my mum? We don't want anybody with the latter.
And we all have good, bad, indifferent days. We all have off days. We're not on form. We're normal human beings. So every medium's the same. We go through good periods, bad periods. Things affect us exactly the same. But what we try, myself and Kerry, and I know you, Sandra, as well, is we always try our best for people. We always try and do that. That's why we only want yes, no, or I don't know. Those are the answers. That's exactly it. That's all we want. And
one of the best things you said was no. Don't be afraid to say no, because no means new opportunity. And yes, you go back into your whatever you do, yes, looking for that information if it is a no.
And it can be very simple. There's an example that we use in some of our classes where if a daughter or a son has a certain memory of their mum, and if I were to say, or you or Phil were to say, I've got mum here and she's a bit stubborn, then that might just not sit with daughter or son in the same way as strong-minded. Mm-hmm. So just if you get a note your mum was stubborn, no, okay, so your mum was strong-minded though. Oh yes, it's just we've got to be aware of how it sits with the recipient as well, because we're talking about mum might think she's a stubborn ox, but daughter might not want to remember her mum that way, so putting it a slightly different way. That's why we use no. It's not about manufacturing a yes out of a no. It's about getting to the correct understanding of what we're receiving.
Yeah, because mediumship, especially online through Zoom, it has been a real education for most mediums, I would have thought. Over the years when myself and Kerry have travelled the United Kingdom up and down, backwards and forwards, and twice, 3 times over, then gone into Europe, we're learning new cultures, learning audiences that are not used to the spiritual churches. So we've got to be very clear, transparent and crisp with our information, our grammar. Then travelling to the States and everything else, we've also got to understand terminologies and cultural differences. So again, the medium's been educated all the time. So new opportunities, new way of learning. So the no is okay, that's a no, but good mediums want no's, because then they can go back to the spirit world and prove what they've got. And there's nothing better for a medium to do that or give you something, because this happened recently with ourselves. on the gathering where we said a couple of things. I'm really sorry, we can't understand that, but we backed it up with other evidence, and they've got back in touch with emails and said, we found off my mum or my dad, or we're talking, it's absolutely correct. It shows that we don't read minds. It shows that we can give information that's correct, but they find it from another source.
And the best bit, not that we can give a barrel full of
can't give
stuff away,
yes.
but sometimes, and it does happen maybe once or twice, where the best evidence is where the person didn't know. They've gone and checked. That way they can come back and say, well, they weren't reading my mind then because I didn't know that. And the spirit world are very clever. They know what kind of evidence that individual needs to hear.
Yes.
And I think we've got some, I don't think this, I know this, that there's some mediums out there that are not too pleased what the three of us are doing. The thing is, ladies and gentlemen, we are out to increase the level of integrity in mediumship. We think people deserve, if you're going to the doctor on the bottom of the class or the top, we need to have a level playing field that you should be able to say yes, no, or I don't know, and let the medium do the work. And for mediums watching, we're not trying to hurt your business in any way, but what I have found through training with Carrie and Phil, we do weekly classes, weekly psychic classes to get to know that psychic sense. And then on Thursdays, we do a mediumship class that now you use your psychic sense to tap into someone in the unseen world. There is a way that you guys teach that really hones in the information. And if you are somebody who's a medium, you deserve it, and your clients deserve it to be the absolute best you can be, and be okay with the no, you know? So I love you guys. I love the training. I don't have any desire to be a demonstrating medium out in the world, but I don't want to be afraid of it either. I want to get to know my own psychic sense and what's possible. And I have witnessed miracles being with you guys. So just a few things that we do is once a month, we do a monthly mediumship demonstration, messages from the spirit world, which we're recording this on March 18th. And tomorrow, actually, March 19th, we're going to be doing an hour-and-a-half demonstration of mediumship with you guys, which will be fantastic. 90 minutes. And everybody gets a replay. And you know what's interesting that we do is, I don't want to call it a money back guarantee, but it's a satisfaction guarantee. We want everybody happy. And in the, oh gosh, going on 2 years we've been doing this, I've only had one person ask for their money back, and it's because they couldn't hear properly. Their hearing aids didn't allow them to hear. So we want everybody to feel comfortable. We normally charge $15, not a lot, but and then on Sundays, we have our free Sunday gathering. And you can find out about all of that at wedon'tdie.com. Click on the Sunday gathering link or the store or the calendar, and you can find out more. Now, I know coming up in just 9 days, you're doing a course called the Online Demonstrating Medium. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. What we're going to be doing is looking how to demonstrate online, but also not just online, but how to, because we're all going to be going back face to face, is showing you the different ways to demonstrate. If we're profoundly clairsentient, how to use that sense to take you to the person, how to deepen your evidence. But we're looking, I prefer to go direct to people. So when I'm face to face, I like to point out to people I'm going to get the information from the spirit world and go direct. But there's different ways where we can throw out information. Well, if we're going to work that way, it has to be quite profound. So we'll show you how to do that as well, and work with the formalities, work with the presentation, and get you to see exactly what you've got to make the most of your presentations. But as we look at demonstrating, we could say as well that it's about private readings, learning to make the most of your information within them. So you don't have to be a demonstrating medium to come along, but understanding the mechanics, understanding how to make your mediumship better is always going to be good.
And we've got people that have already signed up that have no intention of being the demonstrating medium, but they're really curious about the mechanics behind it and the difference between demonstrating face to face in a hall or a theatre and demonstrating online. So they might not even demonstrate when they're on the course, but they want to understand the teachings behind it, because what we're about is educating. It's not educating necessarily the medium in every case, It's educating the audiences, it's educating the recipients as to what they should expect at a good demonstration of mediumship.
Yeah, and it might be worth mentioning very quickly, if we're working in a church or a small room, how a medium can work and what the difference is between that small room and a big church hall or a big hall to a theatre where you can't see everybody, how the spirit world need to work differently through the medium, how the medium has to present the information differently and has to work differently. So we're in the business of educating everybody, and it's building well-rounded mediums that can work in different ways. And if you've got that knowledge in your consciousness how to work, then you can make your mediumship better because you understand it.
Oh, I love being with you guys. I know at least once a month we do a 5-hour course on a Saturday. I know you also offer some specialty courses over 2 days every month. And I also know you guys do private readings still, and you do mentoring, and you do a ton of stuff. Can you just tell us your home base and how people can get in touch with you?
Sure, we've got our YouTube channel where we've got lots and lots of little videos that with clips of our answers, and it is our opinions to questions that have been sent in. And we've also got our website, which is the spiritandsoulfoundation.co.uk.
Very nice. Well, Carrie McLeod and Philip Dykes, thank you for who you are. Thank you for being just so down to earth and regular and not having any great big egos, because you wouldn't be part of this if you did. You're real, and you bring forth people from the afterlife, because we are not balls of energy. We are real living people when we cross over. So thank you for the integrity you have to all that and keeping it real. And I just want to leave everybody watching with a thought. If you, the day that comes that you are transported to the other side, you close your eyes the last time here on planet Earth, and you open them, and you're surrounded by loved ones, like crossing a finish line to life. Even your pets are there. But here's the thing, you get an opportunity now to come through a medium and talk to your loved one. What are those bits of information that you want to share that you know your loved one will know that it's you? And it's a question that even I don't know the answer to, but really think about that. What makes you different? What makes you recognizable? What is it that you would bring forward? So I want to leave you with that. Carrie and Phil, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I know I'll see you tomorrow for the Dem, and I know we'll see you on the Sunday gathering. And again, WeDon'tDie.com is the home base. There's also almost 400 hours of episodes with me interviewing people about the afterlife. And join us for a course. Come on a Wednesday for our psychic course, and then maybe on a Thursday for our mediumship course. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you.
Okay.
And thank you to everybody watching. Bye.